Welcome to Living a Full Life podcast. Join us as we explore health topics that encourage raising healthy children, living a healthy life, and living the best life possible. Now, here's your host.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Living a Healthy Life. I'm Dr. Enrico.
I'm Dr. Christine.
Dr. Christine, we're married, we're happy, and we have kids too, so we know what you guys are all thinking. We wanted to bring up flu season. We like to call it sugar season.
So everybody knows sugar season starts right before Halloween, all the goodies, all the treats. But what people don't know, and then it continues through even Valentine's Day, but really starts taking off when the kids go back to school. And what people don't realize is that every time you take in sugar, it takes some of your white blood cells, which are what go and fight infection in your body, and it bottoms them out. So if you have a bacteria that you picked up, out in public, well, it's gonna make it, your body's gonna have a harder time fighting that for 4 hours. So it has a chance to really take off. So it's important that we, as best we can limit our sugar, which is fully impossible with kids. And all of the fun times. But we wanted to talk about what we can be doing to improve our family's immune system, especially this time of year.
It's the holiday season. I mean, we just went through Halloween, and I feel like that's where it all starts. You come home with a bag of candy. What do you think is going to happen? We do little tricks like the switch witch, whether you do this or not in your house. They're just good tactics to minimize that bag of sugar. There's no reason to bring home a bag of sugar. So. And you know our story we have 3 daughters, we have 3 kids, they're 8, 6, and 3. They're all, figured out their legs, their mouths, and their spunkiness. Mm-hmm. We're outnumbered, and they ruled the entire house. We're just going to be completely honest with you on that. But sugar, we could do an entire episode on sugar and how it works physiologically. It is, 5 or 6 times more addictive than heroin. Mm-hmm. So I hope none of you have experience with heroin, but it is 6 times more addictive than that, and that's what it does to the brain. And it's not just sugar that comes from fruit. It's the refined processed sugar systems that we have used in our foods, like fructose corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup, which has been banned in 14 different countries. The syrups, the things that we add to food that make them spike our insulin. For us, you know how you feel if you eat poorly and you have too much candy or sugar.
Sugar hangover.
Imagine what happens to your child. It's 3 or 5 or 6 with their developing brain. It is a drug, and we have to realize that. So we don't like to call it flu season. We like to call it the sugar season, and how to mitigate this in your household. Well, we got 3 top tips that we use not only in our house, but we teach our patient base as well to minimize the damage from sugar season and the holiday season. Number one is food. The best thing you can get into your own body and your kid's body is fruits and vegetables. Even with fruits, it has sugar, but it has the nutrients associated with it that's protective. So some of the things that we like are oranges, because kids typically really like oranges. Our kids will go through a huge Costco-sized bag of those mandarin oranges every week, maybe 2 of them. They love pomegranates, they love berries. These things all have really strong compounds that help our body boost up its immune system, and they do other things as well, so it's benefit here. Carrots. Most kids will eat carrots too, and carrots have a little bit of vitamin C, and they have beta-carotene and things that really all improve. So one of the things to think about is a whole rainbow of vegetables. So a lot of nutritionists that we like, especially for kids, will suggest eat a rainbow of vegetables every day, which is hard to do, but kids also like rainbows. They like colors. So it's a great thing to work for. Absolutely. I mean, we struggle with this. Don't look at us and be like, the number one question I get every time I do a workshop, a sensory processing workshop, a diet workshop, a health workshop, food workshop, is what do I do for my kids? And I'm like, hey, you're not asking the right guy here. We have picky eaters too. We get a lot of no's. We get a lot of pushback, but you got to sneak this stuff into their lunches if they go to school. You got to leave a tray available for them, and you just got to teach healthy habits. It's a mean thing that I do to parents when they come to my workshops. No one has ever fought me for this, but when they tell me something like, all they eat is Pop-Tarts or pizza pops or any, and I look at usually a dad. I'm like, who taught them that Pop-Tarts even existed? I'm pretty sure your 3-year-old can't go to the grocery store, buy Pop-Tarts and bring them home. It was you, but it's a real fact. I mean, not to pass blame or judgment onto any parents, but you got to erase that. You got to own that, and you got to say, well, we got to fix this. This isn't going well. Just like when we have trouble sleeping at home, you got to change the scenario, change the bedtime routine to resolve that issue. It's just when it comes to food. So I know what your questions are when you're listening to this right now. Is like, what? I don't even know where to start, where to go. It's just giving them access to this fruit. And when you ship them off to school, if they go to school, or even if they're homeschooled, that's lunch. There's your lunch. We packed it, we made it, you got to eat it. And they won't eat all of it. They'll still be picky, but at least they have access to what they need during that time.
One of the tips that I really like for school lunches, when they go to school, that's their food for the day. So we pack a fun snack, Sun Chips, or I don't know, whatever it is they're into at the moment. And currently it's Sun Chips. But we get the bento boxes, and so there is a space for vegetables and there is a space for fruits, and they know that every single day they're getting those. And then they'll get their protein, and then they'll have some fun snacky carb. But every single day they're getting at least one fruit and one vegetable, and we alter them with whatever they're currently eating, because as you know, they love the oranges until they hate the oranges, and then they sit and they mold and they rot, and you wonder what happened. It's feast or famine when it comes to fruit and vegetables. So at least they're getting that every single day, and they know that they need to eat their vegetables and their fruits. We also really like protein in our house, but at this point of the year, it's really fruit and vegetable season.
Yep. Number 2, antioxidants. Antioxidants, supplements. Supplements are number 2. And we also want to teach a little bit as well. We're not real doctors, we're chiropractors, right? We get it all the time. 80-90% of the population believes, or crack jokes about that, and that's fine. We'll take it. We'll be ducks. We'll be whatever you want, as long as we can influence you to live a healthy lifestyle without drugs or surgery.
As long as we can help.
As long as we can help.
Yeah.
Antioxidants play a big role in our supplements, and your kids don't need a whole bag full of supplements every day. There's specific ones that play a big role. Which one's the number 1 for you?
During this season, elderberry. So almost daily. Sometimes we take breaks from it, but there's almost in every community there is someone in your community who is a mom that makes elderberry syrup. In our community, we have Mallory. She's wonderful. She's got a huge reach, and they're really tasty. They're yummy, and kids really like it. Sometimes I will spike the elderberry with things like vitamin A, vitamin C, and my kids, we get them cute little shot glasses, and they always ask me, is this just elderberry? Because at this point, they don't trust me, because they know I will sneak in the vitamin C, the liposomal vitamin C, or I will put some vitamin D in there, which doesn't taste bad, but elderberry is a win. Kids like elderberry.
They do, and sneak in whatever you need to sneak in. Elderberry, the importance of elderberry, and people in your local community all over the place are doing it now, so you can find access to good elderberry, is they should be putting a local honey in there. This is the key. If you're shopping around, you're like, am I doing it right? You can make it at home as well, but it's the local honey, because the local honey gives you a boost to your local environment. So when we're talking about allergy season, flu season, sugar season, if you're using things locally, you're getting the local environment as well, which gives a better result to your immune system and immune boosting and all the stuff that comes with antioxidant and supplementation there as well. Number 2 on the supplement list?
Vitamin D. So it's kind of a hot button topic. Some people like vitamin D, some people don't like vitamin D. But the literature is pretty straightforward that we need to have good levels of vitamin D. So for kids, yeah, supplementation, 1,000 IUs per day, sure. We don't do it all the time. We try to get out in the sun a lot, but even in Florida where we live, people have really terrible vitamin D levels, and they're not regularly getting them checked. So for adults, I really suggest getting labs taken for vitamin D every year to make sure you're in that's the ideal. I consider it 50 to 80, maybe even 50 to 90. But when your labs slip, it'll say 30, which is way too low, to 100. So there's lots of good studies showing that all-cause mortality, so your chance of death, is much lower if you have a vitamin D level right around 50 to 80. And that's why we like that.
That's the literature, right? There's no such thing as trusting the science. Science is continuous study of the literature. So we tell you updated literature. This is where we're at, 50 to 80. 90% of the people in our office that bring me their blood work are deficient in vitamin D continuously. We've been doing this for 15 years, and I'm like, maybe someday I can stop talking about vitamin D. It's not today. Everyone is so deficient in it. We all need it. So as parents, the risk that I hear from you is that, well, can I overdose? Can I do too much for my kids? I want to give it to my 2-year-old. Is that safe? It's 5,000 IUs per day for adults, and it's 5,000 IUs over the age of 6. So I like the rule: when you're 1, 1,000 IUs. When you're 2, 2,000 IUs. When you're 3, 3,000.
And check with pediatrician, because there's different levels, and they can even sometimes do a quick blood test to check. But
right, they don't. But it's important. So if you're wondering what to give your kids, if you stay at the 1, 2, 3,000 IUs per day, you're okay.
And I like 1.
1.
Yeah.
Safe rule. Safe rule. Vitamin D. Great.
Yeah. So what do you do when they get sick with supplements? Good question, because a lot of the medications you take when you have a cold or flu, they're not actually doing anything for your immune system. They're just masking or decreasing symptoms, basically. So what do we do to really give the immune system a boost when we're sick? So vitamin A, zinc, echinacea. There is another product called arabinogalactin, which really boosts up the complement system of the immune system, which is a really deep dive to look into there. I'm trying to remember what else. Yeah, those are the big ones we give. So when I talk about my kids asking me, looking at me like they don't trust me, is this just elderberry? It's because I will get the liquid vitamin A, and I have a specific dosing that I give to my patients, and we share in our practice that they can have when they're sick based on their age. Because again, like vitamin D, it's fat soluble, so is vitamin A. So you actually can overdose on vitamin A. So you don't want to go crazy.
Right.
But what is it called? The RD, how much you normally get per day that's recommended. It's too little. It's not enough. So there's really a sweet spot for how much you should be on. It's a short-term dose, and it really boosts up the immune system.
Yeah, the daily recommended doses, the RDs.
The RDs, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is there. So for kids, the vitamin C boosting for sure. Oranges are great at that.
Vitamin C, yes, that's what I meant.
Oranges are great at that. And your vitamin D and your zinc. You can supplement zinc for kids as well. Those 3 in combination do stimulate the immune system to overreact, which is good. They're your military. You want to call them out when you're feeling sick. And the key to this is catching it early, because once you're in full-blown response, you just want to supplement that, just health-wise, right? Good. Number 3.
Keep kids moving. So it's going to get cold outside most places. Kids are going to want to be inside. They're in school all day. They want to come home and lay on the couch and watch TV if you're my kids, our kids. So lots of activities. So some tips that we have when the kids want to have screen time after a really long day at school, because kids are tired when they come home from school. We're tired when we come home from work. We will maybe put on a dancing video game. We have 3 little girls. They love to dance. Or YouTube. One of those like moving kids workout type things. They love doing those. They'll sit for half an hour, and all 3 of them will do it. They will fight, but they will all sit, and they will all stand and run around and do that for a few times. Or sports, whatever.
Whatever you can get them doing. Just sitting in front of a screen all day and sitting in desk just dampens that immune response. It makes us tired. It makes us lethargic, and we can do a whole thing on sleep too. But those are the top 3 things. Is make sure we get the supplementation that we need on a daily basis, and it's about consistency more so than figuring out the little things that you need to do. It's just being consistent with your food, being consistent with your supplements, and being consistent with moving. Keeping them active is a huge part of that as well. We have people up north, that follow us from Canada, from northern United States as well. In the wintertime, things become a little bit difficult to move if you're not playing hockey or being active outside in the winter sports. So we get it. We absolutely get it. This is a war that we will win in the end as parents. However, we've come to terms that the battles, you're going to lose a lot.
Yeah.
You're going to lose a lot of the battles.
And you got to pick your battles.
But at the end of the day, the righteous will win. And our job as parents is just to give them a healthy, happy journey. And that's what we're going to keep bringing you. Make sure you follow us on social media. Make sure you tag us. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share this with people. That's how we're going to grow, reach more people. We appreciate you. If you have any ideas, send them our way. And the whole team is going to be involved in this. You're going to get doctor opinions. I've got a lineup of people coming down the pipeline, naturopaths from around the world, medical doctors, cardiologists. We're going to bring you the content that everybody's looking for. And we'll be here for a very long time.
Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of Living a Full Life podcast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to rate, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. That helps others find the show, and we greatly appreciate it. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next episode.